The Uganda we want. So mu Uganda gye twagala mu lutalo luno olw'okulwanyisa obulabbayo obukenuzi nze kyempita obuvundu. Munna Uganda alina okuba nga yeenyigiramu.
Ffenna twenyigire mu lutalo.
Ate abalala tebasomye kuzimba wabula bayize okuzimba.
Uganda gye twagala okulaba ng'enguudo zonna nkole nungi, public transport nga weeri.
Kati eno gavumenti eriwo erina akabonero ka Lucifer. Buli kyotunulako mu Uganda kiriko oxygen. Either babika amawulire malungi oba mawulire mabi. Minisita teyeetagisa kabangali budde buno zaki.
At this time, why should somebody import furniture from outside Uganda? Let us leave NRM to be in charge for another 36 years or more.
I really want to see a Uganda that believes in the rule of law. If you have a constitution in place, follow it to the letter. Don't change laws just because you want them to favor you.
Kuba njagala omanye nti obugagga bwonna Uganda bwe yeeyagaliramu buyita waffe ku ttaka lyaffe. Naye busoga mugidibaze.
How can a referral hospital refer you to a private clinic? The Uganda we want buli muntu ateekwa okumanya nti I am a stakeholder, nkwatibwako si kwesuulirayo gwa naggamba.
Uganda oyinza okukakana nga mwe mulina ba graduates aba university nga bangi okusinga Ebungereza. Mwe mufokasinga nnyo ku degree. Eri bo bafokasinga nnyo nti byensomye mbijeemu omulimu n'enkola.
We are dreaming of a Uganda where at a young age there is such a relationship between parent and son, parent and daughter, where the daughter can say this is what I want.
Uganda gye twagala empya tesobola kubeerawo nga tewali mateeka. Amateeka agakola.
The Uganda. Welcome to the Uganda We Want, Part 2 with General Elly Tumwiine. My name is Robert Molanzi, and just a brief, introduction of General Elly Tumwiine before he speaks to us. He is a Ugandan military officer. He is a professional artist and educator. He was a former minister, or he is the former minister of security. He has been representing UPDF in parliament since 1986, and currently he is the presidential advisor on matters of security. Again, in the Uganda We Want Part 2, he is going to speak to us. So let's listen in to General Elly Tumwiine.
Well, dear viewers, Ugandans and those beyond, what a wonderful opportunity to talk about the Uganda we want. I'm glad it is the Uganda we want, not I want.
Yeah, yes, from where we stopped. Why is it that some of the things you're talking about, we can actually do them, but we don't?
I told you education.
Still,
I told you
takes us
it's
back to education.
It takes back to pro-people policies. It takes back to pro-people leaders. It takes back to pro-people systems.
How can we achieve those, General? How can we have pro-people leaders?
Education first. Education.
Okay, still,
education.
Okay, still in education.
In education, how emphasize
in education, how?
The values, emphasize the values of everything. They are always the wrong and the right. They are always known. Emphasize the right, and the majority are always on the right side. It's the few bad people
that are always on the wrong
side. They are
side.
always on the wrong side, and they make a lot of noise. They are always the one who make a lot of noise and terrorize us even. Like now, the media is being used to terrorize the whole community. Media is the biggest terror now of the community by terrorizing our minds. A small thing comes and everybody is shaking because it is broadcast, over broadcast.
It is because everyone now
and everybody is able to communicate.
Yeah,
so something which would be good.
Media personnel,
so let's use the available technology, the available means. That's why I said you must know what you have for the common good, for the Uganda we want. Don't use it for your selfish benefit above others. And let's expose those who are doing that, which are now doing it corruption. Corruption is those who are abusing their offices, again, taking charge of the microphone, taking charge of the signing authority, taking charge of the, when the majority of the public are seeing. If we emphasize the strength, the police of the mind, and we expose those bad ones consistently and publicly, and we put things in the open. In the bush we call those who are infiltrating us Kawukumi.
Oh, it started.
You know Kawukumi. Kawukumi is this bean weevil.
Bean weevil. I know it.
And I was told by Professor Latigo, who is an expert in insects, and he did his master's and degree on the bean weevil. And he said, once you put the bean weevil in the sun, I mean the bean is in the sun, the bean weevil survives in the darkness. When things are kept in hiding, when things are kept in darkness, that's when the bean weevil goes. But once you put the beans in the sun, the bean weevil flies out. If it is lucky, what stays, of course, you eat it, and it adds to your protein.
Because now it is safe.
It is safe
to eat.
It is even safe to eat. I'm sure all those who went to school and ate beans, you could not have avoided eating some.
I think you're remembering those days of Mbarara High.
Yes.
And
so
St. Henry's College.
all schools must have. So, but the point is, once you put them in the sun, the weevils out or die. So, one of the Uganda we want is transparency. A Uganda which is transparent. A Uganda where people are not only peaceful but happy to express their views. And you know, we have comparisons to see. There are countries where you cannot say what you want. There are countries where people are always under terror. And they are intimidated by the police of the roadblock. Instead of enjoying the air of the police of the mind. So, the Uganda we want is continuous education. When you hear that the leaders are going to Kyenkwanza, the effort there is try to strengthen the police of
the mind.
When you hear that somebody is a cadre is he who understands the principles of the organization and who is able to explain it, teach it, and defend it.
So it's not a military word.
It's not a military word at all. A cadre is that one who knows the right direction to take. The one who has been educated in the values of the organization and the principles, who can explain them, teach them, and defend them wherever he is, whichever position he has, whichever area he is. So that strengthening of the mind and guarding against the police of the roadblock is the only way to go. And that's the only investment. I want to talk about future investment.
Yeah, before you talk about that, General, let me just remind people who are following us. We are speaking to General Elly Tumwiine. He is a Ugandan military officer, a professional artist, educator, former Minister of Security. He has been representing the Army or UPDF in the Parliament since 1986, and he is also the presidential advisor on matters of security. So he's, speaking to us about the Uganda we want. So if you're following us and you've just joined us, he is General Elly Tumwiine speaking to us. And General, you talked about comparison that we have countries that we look to. Why is it that as a country we don't embrace some of the good things from those countries to our country, to achieve the Uganda we want?
Actually, I don't know whether there are many we look to. I think
there are few.
There are many which look to us.
But still, to some of the things you're talking about.
I'm telling you, that's what I'm explaining. I don't think there are many whom we look to, as there are many who look to us. Why? Because if we took in the region here, we are having more refugees from all our neighbors, almost, which means they look to our peace and to that. At the same time, there are some values of some other countries. Yes. I don't think there are even countries we look up to, which are so, like democracy. I think we have the best democracy. No country in the world elects from president to LOC1. No. I don't know of any.
I
don't know any country, because the Uganda we want is where participation, is where everybody is free to participate, is where everybody is free to access any position in leadership. And to me, that is what you may admire what other countries are doing, but their democracy is not as transparent, as open as ours. On that one, that is my understanding. I want those who want to study the different systems of democracy. And there are books all over the world. One actually wrote saying, democracy, the god that failed, especially in the West. You know, and there are many other books. So the point, the one I want is where everybody feels free to participate. Participation. We have an organization called the Smart Partnership Movement. The Smart Partnership Movement is about how to create a smart society where ideas are shared, the word sharing.
The third word.
Where the sharing, where things, where ideas are shared, where there is free participation. Encourage all people to participate. Don't segregate them on tribe, don't segregate them on sectarian ground. Avoid that. Create an environment where everyone participates from all the different diversities. Because those diversities are natural and they are there and they are good.
Can't go away without
but
them.
I'll see where everyone participates. Then using whatever available technology for the betterment of society in a smart way. And we judge it by the 3 words. Win, win, win.
Win, win, win.
Not one win. Not that if I do business with you, I win and you lose. That is a one-side win. It is if I do business with you, you should win and I should win also. Then the third win, it should not be that that's the win-win situation I would want for the Uganda I want, is where there is a smart society, where there is win, win, win. Now, if I do, the third win is that I do business with you, you win, I win, then the third win is the society should also win. We should not do business at the cost and expense of the society. Some people are doing it. For them, they hide a bill, they create the manufacturer and the seller, the society is killed.
Is there anything that can be done to such people?
Oh yes. Society, of course, if you have all participation, you identify them, you expose them, and they are there. As I have said, you get somebody who manufactures fake drugs, you get a seller who sells them. Both of them win. The manufacturer and the seller. But the community loses by taking fake drugs or drugs which will kill their animals or drugs which will affect their bodies. That's the example where you find that sometimes there are wins of one person that you do a business, you lose, for him he gains. And there are many people like that. So the only answer, the Uganda we want, is where the 3 wins are. Whoever is doing business with another both win and the society wins. So that everyone is a winner. And it is possible. Many people don't know how to solve problems in a win-win situation. That is very important. We should have a win-win situation.
When all parties are benefiting.
When everyone is benefiting. Now, when it comes to politics, the modern politics of division, I call it that.
Is it? Oh,
yes.
Really?
These parties are divisive. That's why we had originally thought of a no-party government. In our bush, the Uganda we want was the movement system where everyone would participate.
Okay. Are you still advocating for that?
Yes.
You want us to go back to the movement system?
It was the most successful time of Uganda's transformation. The movement system. The years of that system made the economy, not now. Now it's flattened a little bit because of the divisions we have.
We
go and spend so many hours in parliament trying to pass one small thing. It takes weeks and months. But when during that time of the movement system, we still had some people who were opposing, because we would oppose on principle.
Not just opposing,
not just
for
opposing,
the sake of opposing.
Because you see, in this divisive multi-party dispensation, which was imposed by democracy, which also was not
of course,
for,
others call it multi-party democracy.
but it means that I am working, all I'm doing to get you out and I come in. Then you work to get me out and you come in. That has been happening like in the West. They have two parties like UK and America. They keep just exchanging that the majority are out, are not participating. The majority of the people voting, only about less than 40 or 43 or less are voting. The majority are not voting. So they are not part of the democracy. That's what I am talking about, that these modern democracies, where you create a necessary division, that somebody I am there, I am opposition, I must oppose. That's not the Uganda I want. Uganda I want is when everyone is free to participate, and we look at a wrong thing as a wrong thing together. We look at a road as a road for all of us. We look at a project as a project for all of us. We don't look at it in terms of the NRM or the opposition. No. The Uganda we want is where all our children think as Ugandan, not as red, yellow, what? Why? Have you not seen them? So, the Uganda we want is the one of no sectarianism, no division, harmonious, peaceful, enjoying the beauty that Uganda gave us, conserving our environment, and educating our people. I was at the beginning, before we started, I told you what the Kalahari Desert people teach. From morning to evening for them, they teach one subject: how to survive in a desert. And the elders speak in turns on that subject.
How to survive in a
How
desert.
to survive in a desert. Each one gives his experience. And I had, actually, you will hear about it. We started something called Knowledge for Life.
Knowledge for life.
Knowledge
Heard
for life.
about it.
Which you do not have to, it does not mind which subject you take. But there are basics of life which you need to know. Knowledge for life needs to start with about your security as a person. Knowledge for life is about what resources you have around you. Whether you are a scientist, whether you are an artist, whether you are a chemical engineer, you need basics of life. You need to have a family. Is there a school which teaches family? Tell me a family school. We actually wanted to start a family, the making of a family institute. But we integrated it within the Knowledge for Life. Some religions teach and they give some counseling, but they are basics of life. Living in harmony with one another, deliberately, must be taught. Don't take it for granted that it will catch you like flu. No. You must have demonstration.
It has to be taught and nurtured.
It has to be taught, it has to be nurtured, it has to be strengthened. And as I said, sharing for strengthening of the mind is the, as I was going to tell you about, is the best investment for the future.
Future investment.
Makerele's motto is we build for the future. No, but investing for the future is strengthening the police of the mind. And that's what I'm going to concentrate on. The test I have, the rest time of my life which I'm left with, is to encourage young people, because they are the ones who have longer years in the future. The grandchildren should know the values. And they say if it is the UPDF or those young UPDF who are joining, we should continue strengthening those values of NRA, the values of UPDF, the values of Fronasa, the values that have brought us this far in ensuring that we have a pro-people army, we have a pro-people government, we have a pro-people leaders, we make pro-people policies. That is the Uganda we want. And it is very simple. What is good for the people is good for all of us. There are things which are for a few, which only benefit a few. That's why I like the president when he's always talking of the lower people, fighting for the people down so that they come up. It is not in your interest to keep people down. It is in your interest, whatever level, that others also come up. And if you want to run very fast, you run alone. But if you want to go very far, go with others. So that as you go along, if you get tired, another one holds your hand and you'll go a longer distance. The Uganda we want is the Uganda where there is peace, where there is happiness, where there is harmony, where there is transparency, where there is freedom, where there is pro-people institutions, where there are pro-people leaders, where there is continuous strengthening of the mind and of the moral values everywhere.
Just before we sign out, Geno, I have a question here. Do you think the PDM, the parish development model, as you're talking about, moving with people, moving together, pro-people government, pro-people, army, and so on, do you think the parish development model can turn around Uganda as a village movement of President Park?
Do you know what
to South Korea?
Do you know the formula? The most common statement I make is that the future belongs to the organized.
The future belongs to the organized.
The future belongs to the organized. Even if there was nothing else the parish model is going to do, if the parish people can come together to organize themselves in groups, even if they have not been given any shilling,
they can
to me, that is the beginning of organizing our people. When we came, to tell you the truth, the LOC ones were powerful, and the people would meet as a village. The LOC one, regularly you would find them under trees all over, meeting as a village. And at that time it was discussed security, it was discussed they would change, they could even remove a chairman and put another one in that meeting of LOC ones. Now, as we went into trying to follow and copy the modern democracy, we lost it. We have to wait for years, 5 years, to elect a new chairman once you have been elected. But now with the parish model, for people to be organized in their interest groups at the parish level, and they are meeting regularly, and they know each other more, and then some little money trickles there and spreads.
If it does.
It will, because it is budgeted for, it is there, and all of us should.
We've seen money that has been budgeted for.
You see, don't live in the past, and don't think life will remain. When you have that attitude, that's another. The Uganda we want is a positive attitude. A positive attitude which says things should get better. When you have a positive attitude, you work towards that attitude. When you have a negative one, you'll always be complaining, you'll always be angry, you'll always be suffering.
What leads to the negative one? Because
the negative,
what leads to the negative?
It can't work. It is not possible. I cannot make it. That negativity.
Isn't this negative attitude maybe...
It will kill you.
Is basing on something.
No. Things change, things improve, things get better. If you think things will get worse all the time, you will get worse yourself before things. Because you will die of anger, you will die of complaining, you will die seeing negativity. But when you have hope, now this is the point. When you have hope and a good attitude, it's not, the Uganda I want is when everyone is working towards to make it the Uganda he wants or she wants.
Or she wants.
Yes. That is the positive attitude that will make things work. The parish model, I want to add on it. I have told you, the most important part of it is getting the people down organized. With whatever little they have, if they put it together, if they meet regularly, if they focus on their interest area, that interest will grow. And it will grow from across the whole country, from the base. Because we have solved the question of the top, which was the problem before. The problem of the top was how to elect our leaders. That one is not a problem. The problem now is how to transform the whole country. There is peace, there is everything you can do. There are banks now, there is communication, there are roads, the rain is still raining before the desert comes because of our bad management of the environment. But if we improve that, then the organization of society, the future belongs to the well-organized and disciplined. So, as you see the religious institutions help us, do you know how they did it?
How did they do it?
They captured days, the modern religions. The Muslims captured every Friday. The Seventh-day Adventists captured every Saturday. The other Christians captured every Sunday. You take yourself there, it is voluntary. Whoever comes, you start with a few, you keep increasing, on a weekly basis. You go and pray and you come out as if you feel, we say, forgive us all that is past. And you come out thinking
like you have everything.
You are now forgiven. But by the next Saturday, by the next Sunday, you are already rusty.
But they are spiritual.
But because of that weekly routine, it cleans our bad cobwebs and brings fresh life and brings fresh hope and gives fresh happiness, and you share and you meet together as a community in the church. That is what is lacking in society. They have nowhere to meet regularly to share their challenges of the village. If that is there through the parish model, I salute it very much.
Will that be? I don't want to be negative, but will that be?
I have
initially hope. They were together, and after you say that they were divided,
it was politically. It is politics.
Politics.
Because I told you some of the things we had to soften to run with the rest of the world. Yes, you know.
So now you're not going to soften again?
Now on this, it is not us. It is the people's interest themselves. Once you give them a little money, and they are organized, they are the ones who will expose who wants to eat it. They are the ones who will give out the one who is corrupt. Not to wait for police or CID or Karem Nakarem or the one of for president, state house and corruption. No, the people down there with themselves will be able to expose the corrupt and use the little they get. You see, it is not how much you have. It is how well you use the little you have or the much you have. Whereas you people who think of poverty, poverty is not those who have too much or who have little. No, poverty is how well you use the little or how well the much you have. You could have much and misuse it and abuse it and remain a frustrated person and angry person, always losing. And thinking the world is bad when you are the one mismanaging your affairs badly.
Your resources.
Yes. And you could have less, but organize it well and happy with it and grow it slowly, and you see it prosper and prosper and prosper. I was reading a verse which is saying that when you give, God gives you also.
Blessed is the hand that gives.
Hey, if you have something and somebody asks, if you have it, don't say come tomorrow when you already have it. Give it. I have said this publicly. The more you give, the more God gives you. So, the Uganda we want is of those principles of peace, of love, of harmony, of transparency, of focusing on the gifts of the Spirit, of strengthening the police of the mind in all the institutions, whether you are a public servant, whether you are a soldier, whether you are a Christian or Muslim or other religions. Please strengthen the police of the mind wherever you are. And it has helped us. It has brought us this far. And that's what I want to emphasize. Let's keep back to our doctrine. Let's stick to our line. It has made us come this far. It has improved Uganda, and we can make it better and better instead of pulling it down by anger, by complaint, by dissension, by division, by doing all things to spoil that you want to discredit somebody. You are just spoiling for yourself. So add value. You remember the word value?
Number 2 on our menu.
On anything, add value. Then share it. I think we could end with those again. Anything is a thing. Everything has its value. Look for that value. Add value to everything and share it. God bless you.
Oh, well, thank you so much, Geno, for speaking to us on the Uganda we want. Just one thing you left out, one or two. The young generation wants you out, especially you who are Muzei. They want you out, so you should go. And it seems it's now becoming, a big vice, a big virus, a big problem to the nation. What's your take on that?
Now, they are still young.
Because they are still young.
You see, there is a story in our culture. They talk of a young generation like now, which was happy. They one time had a king, a young king, and they decided to kill all the old people. All of them took a decision that for, just like these ones are now talking like you are talking, that gets rid of the old people. They said, let's kill all these people so that we can enjoy ourselves. So they did. They killed them. And they started enjoying themselves and drinking with the king. One day they went hunting and they hunted a zebra and killed it. After slaughtering it and removing the skinning it, and they looked at the skin, it was beautiful. They said, what can we do to this skin? All of them said, each one said, let me have it. Another said, they said, no, we all cannot have it. I think let's take it for our king. So they took it when it was still wet, and they sewed it so nicely on him. They sewed it so well, and it fitted him, all the body. And they sewed so that he looked like, you can imagine how smart he looked. So they started drinking and celebrating and their hunt, and then they started saying how beautiful you look. You look beautiful. Then he would turn this side and they say, you look beautiful. He would turn this side, oh, you look beautiful. Now as it got towards the afternoon, and the sun was burning, was hitting the skin started holding him, the young king. They started doing like this, moving the body so that he removes, it held him even firmer. So he started saying, you people, I am becoming stiff. Oh, they say, you stiffen and take the kingdom. He says, but I am dying. Oh, you die for it and you have it. It became so bad to him. While they were drinking and celebrating and feasting. Until he said, can anybody remove this from me? They said, no, you look wonderful. Until one man, young man who had hidden his father, one of them had hidden his father. This man, the king said, anybody who will remove this, I will give him half of my kingdom. The cowboy ran and got his father and told him. The father said, don't, they will kill you, they will kill me. He says, no, the king has said, everyone was listening, that he will give half of the kingdom. The man said, now, since this boy has decided to take me to the king, let me go and die. So when he reached, the young people were getting drunk and enjoying, like they are drunk now. Have you seen them drunk in WhatsApp and all that? And not bothering when you talk to them, they say, we don't want to hear about the bush talk. We are tired of bush talk. When we are telling them, we had these values, we had these. So they were drunk all over the palace and happy. So this old man went quietly and got a razor and cut the skin from the kingdom.
From the king?
The king.
From the younger king? From
the younger king. And he told them, I have given half of my kingdom to the old man. Because all of you had wanted me to die. If you want your government, your country to die, chase away the old people. There is no conflict. And let me tell you, I have said this many times. I have said, young people, you are only lucky to have some old people around. For us who are still around, many of our colleagues died. But those who are still alive, you are lucky to have them. It is in your interest, because if you threaten us, we are dangerous. I've said this before, and I'm saying it again. You cannot intimidate us. We are experienced, we are knowledgeable, we've gone through it, we are entrenched, we even have the money. You are just starting. You don't need that, it's not important. What is important is befriend us. Befriend, let there be friendship. Of the Uganda we want is where there are no divisions between young and old, between men and women, where everyone is participating. Young people, befriend the men, the old, so that they pass on their knowledge to you. They share the knowledge they have. We are what we know. Can I repeat that sentence?
Mm-hmm.
We become what we see, what we hear, and what we do about it. I am here to share so that those who want to learn, those who want to hear, those who have seen, do something about it. Continue that message to others. You need the old people to share how to live in Uganda. Like I told you,
how to live in the
like
in the
Kalahari desert people teach how to live,
how to survive,
how to survive in a desert.
In the desert.
You need to learn how to live in the beautiful Uganda. I'm going to make that my subject. How to live and enjoy our beautiful country. Our country, Uganda, of milk and honey, full of fresh water, fresh air, fauna and flora, full of sunshine in the part of Africa. You Ugandans who don't know how to live in this beautiful country, let's discuss how to live together in this country.
They should as well go on YouTube and find out that song.
It is there. I know.
As you were, stepping down as the Minister for Security, you talked about transition of power.
Yeah, and peaceful transition of power.
How
it's my prayer.
How can we? Do you think
it is?
We can achieve
see,
that?
When you hope for better things, you get them. But when you hope for bad things, you get them. I am hoping for a peaceful transition of our leaders in every aspect. It is what is desired. It is what is required. It is what is a win-win-win for everyone. Rather than have unnecessary conflicts, unnecessary divisions, let's continue together and have peaceful transitions, not even one, but continuous peaceful transitions.
Can dialogue help us on that?
Of course. Smart partnership actually is about dialogue. But dialogue must have the values. It must be based on the values. It must be based on the principles. Not a dialogue for, you are dialoguing so that you come in, I get out, you come in. No. It must be in what do we want to achieve? What is the Uganda want to achieve? Who is the best person who can do it? How can we all participate? That's the dialogue. That's the smart partnership. And I'm going to continue teaching about it. We champion it with Professor Triamuhika. In Uganda, we represent Uganda in the smart partnership movement. And our president has been our leader for even the other countries of the smart partnership movement, of how to, the dialogue. We use round tables. We don't use tables with corners, because corners are a point of conflict. That's why even even my house in the village is round. Nothing goes with it in a corner, because a roundness is smoothening, harmony, continuous flow, continuous movement, things smoothly with harmony, not with corners which prick you and divisions. And so I think we have had a good time. The Uganda we want is the Uganda which is peaceful, which is loving, which is harmonious, which is uniting, which is strengthening the police of the mind and having a common focus based on values. Strengthen values. Let's include in our vision 2040 the improvement, the strengthening of values. If you don't know what you want to be, how will you know how to do it? You could have all the money in the world. These days, when I'm teaching to unmarried people, I tell them, please, your children or parents, the most important thing is not how much you leave behind for your children. I repeat, the most important thing is not how much money we make for Uganda. The most important thing is how much value you leave in your children. You who are parents who are listening, don't spend all your time on money alone, but fail to put values in your children. Because if you don't, immediately you die, those riches you leave behind will be spoiled because they have no values. But if you have values, even if you are left behind little, that value will make them be bigger. So the most important thing is not how much you leave behind for your children, but what value you leave in your children. Am I making a point to you? Are you a parent?
Yes.
You have some children?
I have one so far.
the most important thing is the values you leave in that child. Not so much money on the account to leave for him or her. Because in a very short time, if he has no values or she has no moral values, that wealth will go. Wow. The same with Uganda. Let's make money. Let's improve the economy. Let's improve technology. But let our values manage them.
You've heard it from the horse's mouth. Thank you so much, General Elly Tumwiine, for speaking to us on the Uganda we want. Till we meet again next time, for now we say bye-bye.